Yay, there I am. Handsome as ever. Alrighty. Whew. Hey everyone, how you all doing? I hope you had a great weekend. I hope your weekend was better than my weekend. My weekend was horrible. I started off on Friday. I was getting sick. And if you guys are in SIA, you know I kind of powered through that webinar half dead. And then Saturday I was out. Like I was in bed all day. Didn't even want to exist. Leave me alone. Don't talk to me. Sunday I powered through and actually made it to the couch and watched the football games. Go Chiefs. Chiefs did a good job. And then today, today I'm doing all right, I guess. Yesterday I was doing okay, and then today I'm doing okay. So hopefully that all kind of pulls out. And it comes out in a wash. Holy mackerel. And Ted, I don't know about you, but like in Washington, I don't think I ever got this sick. But here, for some reason, it came on with a fury. Maybe it's all the old people who brought their northerner diseases down here. I'm not sure.
No. What it typically is, I've moved across the country a few times, and what it typically is you have allergies for some things and not for others, and when you move, like, all the pollen and all the allergens change, and so
Yeah.
now you're dealing with all new allergies, and you get secondary infections from all that stuff. So you get sinus infections, you catch the local variants of colds and things like that.
Huh. Like it could be it. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, and every time I go to Vegas, I come back sick. Man, that place is just a cesspool of viruses. There's definitely something to changing your location, making you get ill for a while.
For a while, that makes sense. So today I'm going to power through because I'm a trooper. It's the kind of trooper that I am. Actually, I didn't really have anything else to do today, so but we're going to power through and do the show. I have a site. We talked about the new format, so I get a site from one of the viewers. We're going to look at that. Ted doesn't even know. I just surprised him. I don't believe last time, but I didn't even tell Ted the site because he's a busy man anyway. So we'll get his insights on the fly, which is typically better off anyway. And then we also I got 5 stories instead of 3 because that's how many cool ones I found. And then we do questions at the end versus a set number of questions like I talked about in the format change, because I think thinking about it a little bit more, it seemed a little bit silly since we answer you guys questions all the time. So with that, we're gonna get started. While I'm doing that, Martin, I did not get your Skype request. I could have, but if you send me a Skype request and there's no context to it, then typically I just ignore it. It's a little harder with Skype. Obviously, you guys understand. You send a Skype request, you can type a message in there and say, hey, add me or whatever, or you just use the default. Typically, spammers just use the default, and then they ask me if I want to buy link building packages for God knows what reason. They think I'm open to buying the link building packages because I've announced that to the world or something. So typically if if there's not a hey, this is me kind of thing that comes along with it, then I don't accept it. So just if you're sending it, send another one. I appreciate it.
Right now you're sharing a paused YouTube video that people might think their screen is frozen.
Oh, I shared the wrong one.
Yep.
Damn it. Thanks for the heads up. I got like 10 browsers open right now. There you go. The one with my ugly mug on it. That's the one I want to share. Whew. Okay, so episode 149, we're talking about scaling traffic and underground lead generation. Little note of warning, that's kind of clickbaity, but it's all right. Apologize, I had the cough. What the fuck? Oh, jeez. This is my day. All right, this one's from Daniel Cutledge. You guys don't know Daniel. He showed up. He was friends with Charles Float. Showed up with him. Released an on-page optimization course. I believe he was working with Charles Float for quite some time. I'm not sure the ins and outs of how they eventually kind of separated themselves, but now Daniel's doing his own thing. He's got an on-page course, I believe. Supposedly he had an agency and then sold it. I don't remember that being in the history that I've seen of him before, but that's awesome if he's done that. Cool. But he's kind of pointing out an elephant in the room that a lot of people really don't seem to be addressing, or if they do, they're just kind of like, oh, okay. And that's the changes that Chrome has been pushing out recently, or not so recently. It's there's 8 releases in 2016, 8 in 2018, 11 in 2019. But I think that is what's the new one that's coming out, Ted, is they're actually getting, and a lot of people need to know this one, is they're changing Chrome so that it won't show mixed content anymore. And I have not seen anyone say that it's going to be like, we're going to shut down. Like if you have HTTP images, for example, someone, that was messed up, which is obviously could happen, or there's some, or you have HTTP images that you're hosting from a website that's not, like SEO this week, for example. I used to put the images for the stories on the write-up, but the problem was sometimes I stopped doing it because people would kill those images, or they just it didn't work, and it was kind of a pain. Frankly, it was a pain in the ass, so I stopped doing it. But in this case, if that's how your model is and how your site wrote up, and you have a SSL certificate, the way I'm reading this is now Google won't or Chrome won't show parts of the pages if they're HTTP as well. So I'm a little
Well,
confused about that. You're deeper into the Chrome and Chromium, Ted. So do you have any insights for everyone as
well,
that change?
there's a right way for Google to do this, and there's a wrong way for Google to do this. So we're all just kind of sitting back and waiting to see if Google does it the right way or the wrong way. If they do it the wrong way, they're going to say, oh, this secure page has insecure links within it, whether they're images or fonts or JavaScript includes or little tag manager snippets that aren't secure. All of these things could trigger this new change.
Right.
And so the potential for collateral damage on this is huge if Google does this the wrong way. So Google could say, oh, this page has mixed content. Let's put up a big scary warning or not load the page. And if they do that, then the collateral damage across, many industries is going to be catastrophic.
Right.
The right way Google should do it is to say, oh, this is a secure page, and this font you're trying to load isn't HTTPS. So I am not going to load the font. That would be fine.
Yeah, okay.
So if it does that, if it just doesn't make the insecure request, then all is good. You may have some visual quirks in your styles or a broken image that didn't load because it didn't match the protocol. That's fine. That's the right way to do it, is just don't do the insecure part.
That seems to me like the common sense way that they would do it.
Yeah, but if they do, huge scary warnings or make the URL red and say this page is, high risk and all of that crap, they're just going to inflict harm on the community.
Do you think that, let's talk about like devil's advocate, or I guess it's not devil's advocate, but let's say I have a website I'm making killer bank with it. I think I've got everything good. Google makes this change, and there's some images on there that are um, not secured. So they sent down this warning. It hurts all my money and stuff. Am I opening as Google? Am I opened up now for lawsuits?
Well, not really, because you have no personal right to exist and operate within Google's properties. So it's
But if, let's say you're not operating it, you're not in search. I'm just a normal user. I'm using Chrome. I've come from Medium to your website, and now Chrome is saying, "Oh, this is a bad website. They're the devil. Get out."
again,
Obviously, they're
there,
going to use those terms, but
you can replace Google the search engine with Google the web browser. You have choice. You don't have
yeah,
to use Chrome. Is going to be the response.
that's true.
Um,
Everyone's using Chrome. Even Microsoft's using Chrome, Ted.
So, the real question is, what's going to happen in the Chrome browser when these states occur? Because, every time I have done an engagement with an online retailer, one of my opening questions is, how many tags are you loading in Tag Manager? And ultimately, the client has no clue because they've been stockpiling little snippets in Tag Manager for the past 5 years with reckless abandon.
Yeah,
And any one of those could trigger this. And, there's going to be a lot of collateral damage if they do it wrong.
yeah, for sure. You think I don't know. I didn't look it up, but you think Firefox would go along with something like this as an industry goal? Do you think this is a good idea? One, and do you think
Well,
Firefox would go with it?
no, I think Google is applying monopoly pressure. The second Google abandoned the extended verification SSL certificate that made the
Uh-huh.
URL bar green,
Right.
the second they abandoned that, they threw the community away.
Yeah.
They're saying we are the standard. We don't need a community standard. We are the standard because we're Google. And that's a monopoly.
Yeah.
And so they're not working with the community. They're throwing the community out so they can own the standard,
That makes sense.
which is terrible, by the way. I hate
Yeah.
that.
Okay. Builders Society. Thank you, Ted. I know I kind of hit you off the fly on that one, but that was a good one. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Buildersociety.com. Google buys Pointy. If you don't know what this crazy little thing is, you can put this on your UPC reader. So when you're doing an inventory of your store, it'll talk back to the web and then auto update your online store for you, which is cool. Like, I didn't even know that kind of thing existed. So I'm not a retailer, so I probably had no reason to know, but I think that's pretty awesome. Google bought it, obviously, which kind of sucks. But if you are running a retail environment, retail store, and you have a online e-com solution going to it, I would look at this thing and see about connecting these up so you can do your inventories for both online and offline at the same time. And there's probably going to be some GMB implementation to your GMBs so that you can actually talk about using that and getting your inventory and your GMB stuff done too. So pretty cool. Not so much that Google bought it, but I think there's some, if they do the implementation of this technology properly, it would support your Google shopping campaigns, and support your GMBs, your posts, and maybe even some organic, maybe kinda. I'm gonna go less on the organic, but everything that you paid for, you might get some more benefit out of. So, check out the Builder Society write up, and some thoughts on it, and then go check out this post right here about Google buying this thing, and maybe even check out Pointy.com,
Now,
especially if you're on a retail end. Go ahead, Dan.
if there is any truth to the notion that using this inventory helper helps you sell on Google, I mean, the exploit potential is off the chart.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
if you're an affiliate, you just get a Pointy and pretend to count things in your pretend warehouse. So I'm skeptical that there'll be a selling advantage by using the technology. But
Yeah.
inventory management in online retail is a huge problem. It's a high dollar business. Companies pay big bucks for people to come count their warehouses.
Yeah,
So,
and I'm thinking more along the lines of, especially with you're talking PPC and you're managing Google Shopping campaigns, you have hundreds, if not thousands, of products, and this will feed into that. And supposedly, the integration will look and make your ad management easier too, which would be interesting.
yeah. Like, if you can figure out systems to make sure that you're not paying for ads and selling product that you're sold out of, I
Uh,
mean, that's a big solution for
yep,
online retail.
exactly. Let's see. Okay, this is. Have you ever met her? It's Aleda Solis. And I really wish I could get her name right.
I don't think
Aleda.
I've met her.
Aleda Solis. So she is a predominantly a speaker. She does do SEO consulting. I think she's got a book or two out. But most of the stuff you actually see from her is really good. Like, it's thought out, well written stuff. And this is her post on audit. So I don't know. Like Ann Cushing, is that her name? She does a really good audit one too. And this is kind of, I think if you take these two together, it's a great idea and thought process of going through your site audits. I have my own thing. Yeah, I'm sure all of you have your own thing, but this is just, I don't know if it's overthought. But when you get into the scale of where you're a marketing consultant versus always doing it, you have to pull out the data in as much as you can from different things, right? So this is looking at the different tools that she used. I recognize link research tools. I recognize SEM Rush. Let's see what else in here. This one I don't recognize. It might be a content manager from SEM Rush. But she goes through this process. Oh, there's Right. I don't know if you ever played with Right. I've played with it a little bit. It's okay. Let's see. Yeah, but she goes through her process and her table of her decision table of how to proceed through her audits, etc. It's kind of long, but it's really good to think about how to go with that and create your own thing, right? Your own version of an SEO audit. You'll get to see some of mine here today and on future shows. I'm sure Ted, every once in a while, he'll jump in if he gets approached with something cool, um, or his insights as well. But uh, and you can get a copy of her audit in the Excel format, which is awesome too. So I would check this out, get a copy of that audit, and start putting a bunch of these posts together to create your own unique way of looking at things. It's SEO is an art. It's as much of an art as a science, and a part of that art is having your own little drawings and being able to approach those things in a different way to see new and exciting things. And maybe you find problems and solutions that other people haven't done. So this is again, I like reading her stuff, and I suggest check this one out. Okay, this is insanegrowth.com and it's from Jonathan Kahn. Is How LinkedIn Marketing, the Underground Guide to Massive Lead Generation. And it is really an interview kind of thing of Sally Illingworth and her process through getting through LinkedIn and things or ways to find clients and to generate leads. Now, if you guys are, I don't know, I've done the 30-day sales machine thing. And if you don't, the general crest of that is find people to connect with them, send them a couple messages, and then say, buy my crap. And that 30-day sales machine method is pretty much buried and burned into the ground. Like, I go every time I logged into LinkedIn, I got probably 30 or 40 messages of people following that same format. Connect with, send a message, buy my crap. Connect with, send the message, buy my crap. And then LinkedIn is pretty bad in that messaging part. about that. But this is a little process. I think you've seen most of it. If your profiles are already set up and all that stuff, general stuff about that, you can skip that. But getting into some of the, posting content, and with the types of content, and actually starting engaging over there at LinkedIn. I'm migrating off of Facebook and more into the LinkedIn myself. And then some things that you can share to kind of increase your reach. And I think that'll be a lot better off for you in the long run than it will be, in with the message method.
I'm I'm a little shocked that you're leaning towards LinkedIn. Like any friend request I accept on LinkedIn comes immediately with a sales pitch.
Oh yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
almost one to one.
Almost, yeah. And the problem with the connection system, in my view, is one, how people are using it, and then two, um, the type of people that we try to connect with. Like, I'm an SEO, right? Why would I intentionally go to LinkedIn and look for other SEOs? Those aren't my customers. They're not, unless I'm providing a service for SEOs, then why would I want to reach out to them? And I think that's part of the thing that's going on with LinkedIn. Another thing is too, the network marketing crowd was really big over on LinkedIn. So you got that old mentality too that's still there. Um, and then two is, it's a lot of people think it's kind of like a job network, and then they use it and then they're gone. So if you can get some traction on it and continue to make a steady audience and people reading it and stuff, you get some side benefits too. So, i.e., a side benefit of LinkedIn used to be when you're in the groups, and you posted a piece of content and people liked it enough that LinkedIn would mail that content out. And I would get like 1,000 visitors a day from just LinkedIn, because I was getting those emails out. And they stopped that because people figured it out and spammed the hell out of groups and stuff. And LinkedIn, tightened the ratchet up on that really quick. Um, but I think it's still a viable network. You just have to have a lot more patience with it than like a Facebook kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I'd say my uh, probably number one competitor to using LinkedIn is probably targeting by job title in Facebook.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, and they did add a new feature to LinkedIn too, which I think will slow down a lot of that spam stuff, and improve your visibility. Is follow instead of, it used to be you had to connect or you couldn't see their stuff, right? Now they added follow. I'm not sure how new that is. It's new to me, so I'll just claim that it's new. But they added that so I can leverage that a little bit more too. Instead of telling people to connect with me, hey, just follow me on LinkedIn. You see my stuff, which is at the end of the day, it's what you want, right? See your stuff, and then hopefully they reach out on their own, which is good. All right, and then the final story is how to scale organic traffic without writing a million blog posts. This is awesome. If you don't know my history, when I first started out in this madness, I fell into that. You have to write a blog post a day, and I did that for a year. My first year was writing blog posts. Horrible decision, by the way. Like, I was writing some for easy keywords and stuff, and I was ranking fine, but just hated it. It was like sucked the life out of me. And if you ever want to ever hate writing, you just go through that process and you'll get it real quick. But this is a way to find different topics and stuff and write not just better content, but write content that is going to actually bring in more people, and convert them into a much better way. And then I like that they looked at it in the way like the sentiment of the content, and how to target specific audiences based off of the sentiment that you're trying to achieve too. So go through this one. Really cool. Some different things in their keyword research and in their process of looking through it and how they did it, etc. And if you're not following this blog, you should probably be following anyway. because all of our work as SEOs matters not if we're not converting customers. So you should at least get into their mailing list or whatever. But this is really good article. I like it. Boom. And that's it. That's the stories. Hope you appreciated it. Okay, we're done. Bye. Let's see. Question from Martin. Part of the hype around LinkedIn is because Gary V says it's highly underrated. Gary talks about different. I've been following him for a while. I kind of get tired because it's the same old message over and over again, which is good and bad because sometimes you need to hear that same message to get it drilled in, right? But he ebbs and flows to different social networks and stuff, and it just he makes it seem like it's easy, but people just don't understand it. He's got like a whole office behind him that does all that stuff. So, and then if he says it's highly underrated, it probably is, but only in so much as the people who really want to use it and leverage it are beat to death with the spam and all that other stuff. So if you, God forbid, you put CEO or something like that in your profile, and now you're spammed and targeted. So I think there's an opportunity there if you're smart to use it and leverage it, especially for a traffic source. Unfortunately, you have to be smart and get yourself filtered around the rest of that noise as well. So you have to deal with that. Let's see. I am going to. Do we lose you, Ted? You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. It's so quiet. I'm the one that's supposed to be miserable today. All right. So let's do our site audit for 30 minutes. We're right on time. So that's awesome. I am going to show the whole desktop. This is a user or a viewer requested site audit. As I said before, or yesterday or last week, I'm sorry, Jesus. Last week, if you want your site audited, reach out to me via Skype, clint.a.butler. Make sure you tell me who you are. Don't just send me a request. And then we will do an audit of your website for you. Otherwise, I'll just pick a nice random one and we'll go through it. This is a good one. It's local. I actually like local, and I like the Austin area. It's pretty competitive these days, so you can get a lot of insights out of stuff from it. So we're going to look at this site. I did a Screaming Frog, Site Bulb, and then a Cora run. So those are the tools that I used this time. And pretty much those are my go-tos as well. And then we used SEMrush, Ahrefs, and Majestic. I have not looked at any of those data. We're all going to see those all right together at the same time. So, do you have any insights or something you want to look at? Let me know, and then I'll write it in the background, or and make sure that everything's covered.
Oh, you have the report already run?
Yeah.
Can you share that in Skype?
Yep. Hold on. Every time. Where is it? There it is. Jesus. Ted Skype. Boom. I'll send you that too, just for giggles. All right, there you go. If this is your site, go ahead and message me. Actually, Or I'll send you the core reports too, in Skype after the show. Since this is your website, you can get those reports. Uh, I want to say your name, but I can't pronounce it properly, so I'm not going to try. All right, so this is Dustin Johnson Exteriors. It's an Austin roofing company, obviously. So we get into the first part of my audits. What is it? What's it about? What's in it for me? So obviously, it's a exteriors, Justin Exteriors and roofing. So I'm thinking exteriors and roofing, probably siding, etc. Maybe even some landscaping. I'm not sure. So, but exteriors might throw it off a little bit. And roofing. Best Austin roofing contractor. I wanted to stand out on this one from a. I like it that it's there. I believe. Let me click on this. It's an H1. It is not. Justin Austin roofing. I bet you that's the title tag. We'll have to find that H tag there. No content. Oh, all right, we'll get back to that. Dustin Austin roofing. So where's the H1? I don't know. We do this a lot as SEOs. I'm even guilty of doing it sometimes. Best Austin roofing contractor. It's wasted to me if to have that in there. It's not that the keyword is in there that's a bad thing. It's just there's not a question or there's not a hey, you're in the right place kind of statement. Are you looking for the best Austin roofing contractor? Question mark. My keyword is in there, best is in there, and I'm asking them a question. Yes, I am. Oh, who are you? Okay, I want to click this, and we'll go to town and figure it out, right? So when you're crafting these, make sure you're a little bit more creative than just best Austin roofing contractor. Obviously, if you're doing it on a mass site, you might have a little bit more of gameplay on that, but this is not a mass site. So do a better job of using that space to be something useful, especially if you're going to have a big ass hero like that takes up all this stuff. And there's no other converting content here until you get down to the reviews stuff. So what I mean by that is, am I in the right place? Do you offer what I want? And then are you trusted? And these are all here. I see these all the time. This is great and wonderful. I put them on all our sites too. But at the end of the day, it's not the trust stuff. There's the trust stuff right here. See our reviews. So this to me would be right under here. Best Austin roofing contractors. Here's our trust stuff. And here's what we do. And then all this other gizmo stuff here. Does that make sense, Ted? Hopefully I'm explaining that properly.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's not even looking. He's looking at the core stuff. That's all right. So what and that's just a flow thing. That's not even an SEO thing. It's a flow thing, and it'll help you in this site better represent the business. What is it? Dustin Austin Interiors. What are you about? Roofing contractor. What's in it for me? Roofing, windows, sidings, and gutters. And then your trust stuff. You can trust us. Here's where I serve you, and reach out to me. This page could do with a little bit more. This call to action is okay. Change the color of this. That's what I would do, so that when I'm scrolling down here, it doesn't get lost. Like I was scrolling here and I didn't even pay attention, and this header section got lost to me. So change that color so that phone number stands out. You don't even have to change the line. Maybe even just change the phone number, and that'll do better. Also, you don't want these people going to these social media sites, so get rid of this. This is wasted right here. Put this stuff down here in the footer with the rest of this stuff, because your call to action is the phone call. That's what you want. Get rid of that and make that phone number bigger. That's how, because this is good. These are all trust signals, and Quora sometimes correlates, etc. Having that stuff on there.
Post your hours of operation too. That's a
There you go.
trust signal, and it helps people know when to call.
Oh yeah, exactly. Hours of operation, or even the address. There's so much better you can do with this space, and in this too. You have it here in the logo. You don't really need it here again. Um, when you could put, like Ted said, the trust, the hours, the address, and the phone number. Call us. This is when you can call us. All that information's right off the top. It's right off the bat, and you're good to go. So,
And it's hours of operation is a promotional opportunity because if you offer emergency services, like off hour services, then it's an opportunity to post your hours. This is the normal time for emergencies, between these hours, call this number or whatnot. And
uh,
then you can differentiate your pricing between emergency and non emergency the same way plumbers do.
perfect. See, there's another great tip. And let's see. I think that was it. All right. So, let me get into that's the what it's. What's it about? What's it for me? Let me get into a little bit of site structure. I use SERPworks, been using it since it was a beta. He's still doing a good job. I still didn't see this, like where this H1 is hidden. So it might be, I'm gonna scroll with this in the background. It's probably right there, which is weird. Like it's a weird design. Like why was it there? It's all the way down at the bottom. It's weird. So I would fix that. It's still related. Roofing contractor, Austin roofing contractor, the two primary keywords that I was looking at. So it's not that it's a bad one. It's just the placement is weird. You know what I mean? So uh, look at that in the code and maybe push that up to the top of the page. Then think of the pages as your outline. And if that's the main thing, then why is the main thing in the middle of the page? Is kind of looking like that for that matter. The H2s, you have to fix this. No contextual content in this tag. For whatever reason, there's some random H2s on there. My guess is maybe some images or something like that that are wrapped in the H2 tag. You need to get rid of that. And
Oh,
then,
wow. He has empty H2 tags.
oh,
I
there's
mean, they're
empty
just
ones.
flat out empty, open, close.
Oh, awesome. That's no, that sucks.
Yeah.
So you definitely need to fix that. I won't say that it's hurting anything. If they're empty, it's just kind of like wasted code, right? So
Well, it's back to back. There's an empty one right next to a populated one. So it looks
uh,
like it's some kind of a bug or something in the template or in the coding.
okay, that makes a little more sense. Let's see. This one's good. I keep it. This one I take the H tag off because there's nothing related to roofing or Austin. This one is okay. It's got Austin in it. Unwrap it. This one's okay. It's got roofing in it and roof installation related, so that would be okay too. I would keep those, but the rest of those I'd clean up. H3's not too bad. Roofing company in Austin, which is a variation of roofing contractor, so that's a good choice. And then the H4, typically what I do is my primary keyword would also be my H4s too. So look at that, see if there's an opportunity to get an H4 in there. Meta title length, little long according to this, but you're trying to get a little bit more. And we've done some testing and stuff, and Kyle has seen it, and I've seen it, and Ted, I'm sure, has seen it too. You can just kind of go like forever, really, if you wanted to in the title. Google's going to cut it off, so you put your primary stuff, and then figure out where it's going to cut it off. So it's not a horrible thing. You have your phone number in there, though. If that's designed to be a call to action play, you're definitely going to want to shorten that title tag up so the phone number can actually be seen. Lifetime warranty, probably not needed in there. Um, I would do. I would probably get rid of contractor as well, since you already have it in there. So roofing services or roof repair services or roofing services, and then your phone number if you really want to get the phone number, if that's your intent behind that. But the lifetime warranty is probably not needed. The Texas is probably not needed, since you already have TX inside of there. So the abbreviation, Google's smart enough to know the two. And then the meta description, don't really have a problem with that. I'd probably put the phone number in there too. Because obviously the main conversion point is not traffic. At the end of the day, you really don't care if you're getting traffic because then you're getting more phone calls, right? So if they call from the SERPs or they call from the website, it doesn't matter as long as they call. You want to get credit for that, then you have to use a call tracking number and put that in those 2 points there, so you can say, hey, look, my rankings might not have got you more traffic, but we did get you more phone calls. Look, your phone calls went up. I got you 80 phone calls this month. So that's something to consider. And then don't even mess with this. I don't even do page speed with page speed insights. Kind of a joke. So, well, that's going. I'm going to run this on webpagetest.org. I forgot. Typically, I run this and I forgot to do it. But one thing I want you guys to point out here is this had some errors the other day. As for a while, I guess their provider canceled their APIs or some craziness, but everything's all good now. Typically what I do is I'll run 2 of these, and I'm only going to run 1 today, but I'll run 2. And it's one is in the desktop version right here. And then the other one is in 4G or LTE. Typically it's mostly LTE, but I see 4G too. It just depends on the area you're in and which one of these you're going to end up with. But
The reason you want to do that is you want to emulate somebody using their cell phone away from their home.
Yeah. And then what was the other one? Also find the location that's closest to you. Or closest to your target market. So if I'm an Austin roofer, Dallas is going to be the closest in this case. Versus if this was a Seattle roofer, for instance, then I might be stuck with San Francisco. Looks like it's a little close. Toronto, that's on the other side of the state. So yeah, I'm pretty much stuck with San Francisco or California to test Seattle target audience. So I want to see what my target audience is, how they're seeing my page. And so
but keep in mind we're talking milliseconds of difference there. It all travels at speed of light from router to router.
Yeah, you notice it the most is like, let's say you had a host in the US, but your target audience was in Australia, and that you'll notice that significantly. So
yeah,
but that's when I do it, it's really kind of I'm worried about milliseconds at sometimes. So and then the other one, if you must have freaking lighthouse turned on, turn this on, and then it does a 3G connection. Supposedly they've gone to 4G. I haven't seen any documentation on that to throttle it, to emulate it. But if you want to have what lighthouse turns on, then go ahead and knock yourself out. I'm gonna do it for this one just to humor and show the result.
Sent you a graphic in Skype about what I would target in Cora in a first round.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll pull that out when I get the Cora sheet. First thing I want to do is this is like an old domain buyer trick. And you can look to see if there's a penalty on the website. Obviously there's not. And you can see Dustin established the entity essentially with the branding and stuff because Google's already pulling it out. But what you want to do is throw in the domain name, make sure that the homepage comes up number 1, and then delete that period between the .coms and make sure the homepage number is there. If the homepage shows up, then you're pretty good on the whatchamacallit, the penalty front. So Google likes you. Branding is kicked in. Dustin Johnson Roofing. You're doing a good right there. You already got the map knowledge graph going in. Facebook profiles. This is driven by your organizational schema. So if you guys don't have your organization schema on point, then you're not going to get all these things in there. Also, just because you have like your Twitter, I think it's Twitter, Instagram, and maybe one other one. I have to look again. We can look real quick. But you got to have all those accounts. Oh, come on, fat buttons. You have to have all of those inside of your organization schema for Google to pop that out. And their knowledge graph isn't even showing. So well, there you go. Google sucks. Who's another one? Toyota. There you go. So YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, put those inside of your same as in your organization schema. And that's what kind of powers those out. If you're using like a Yoast or something like that, they already have those in there. Just make sure you fill in all those out. And you'll be it's populated. I also like to send links to these too to kind of trigger that off a little bit faster. So you guys are definitely on the right track with that. Site structure. I run Screaming Frog and Sitebulb for audit tools. Screaming Frog's just a little bit faster, so I can kind of get some of the just I can look at it quicker. You know what I mean? So we look at response codes first, and I'll flip this around in inverse. I'm gonna find the bad stuff, and you see that there is some wonky email thing going on here attached to the domain or the URLs. So you need to figure out what side
Whoa,
of you.
whoa, whoa! Holy crap! What is that?
It's like the email is attaching to the URL somewhere. So I'm not sure where
Is
they're
that
coming
their
from.
email though?
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's there or
Yeah,
somebody.
because if it's other people's emails, what's going on here? Are we
Yeah,
harvesting their lead list?
I don't know. Um, yeah, so I don't have can't remember the last time that I saw that. So I think there's something going on inside of your theme that is attaching and creating a whole new URL and attaching the email to it. It might be the email link, like you have a link on the page somewhere like this. Let me see. It's not even your email.
It's not on his homepage. It's on
Chicago.
some sub page.
Yeah. Let me open this one. Chicago at construction.com. I'm going to open the view source.
And just search for @cons. It should show up.
Yeah, the email is set up wrong.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's no mail to in the mail to link, so it's a
No.
relative path.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's totally a coding bug. That's
Yeah.
incorrect code.
Yeah. So see, we wouldn't have found that if we hadn't fired off Screaming Frog. So
Yeah,
or we
that
would have, it just taken us a little bit longer, especially the way site bulbs organized. So look at that. Again, how I got to that is I ran a Screaming Frog and then I inversed the codes and look at the 404s. And typically your 404s are going to show you issues. I don't worry about like, oh my God, I got a whole bunch of 404s and that's bad. No, I'm looking at like what's causing them, and maybe that's bad. In this case, you want to fix that random weirdness. And I think just because that URL, the email wrong, there's probably something else there too. Like where is that? Where did Frog
But
find it?
they just need to add mail to : in front of the email address so that
Right, that'll fix that. But I'm like, why is it generating a URL? And that wasn't clear in there. You know what I mean? So it's not.
well, they made a
Let's see.
footer and they put that in or something, and now
Well,
it's
I think maybe because it's an Ahrefs.
yeah.
Yeah.
It is a site-wide footer. It's on the home page too.
Okay. So there you go. It'll be an easy fix if it's site-wide footer. Good deal. So there's that. We saw that. I look in here just to see, hey, got any blanks? Am I missing some dumb stuff? Tags, I ignore. It's no big deal. Like I don't use them, but I'm just making sure there's no blanks in here when I'm doing this rough scan.
Is there an option to see the canonical URL in that table view? Because as an SEO, I'd really like to know when they don't match.
That's right here.
Geez,
Yeah.
wish they had
By
a feature that would make it red when they're not in agreement.
that's actually a good idea. I think well, Site Bubble has that. So when we look at Site Bubble, check it out. But you can probably I like look at this one and say is it blank really? If it's not blank, if it's like blank, then I know I got a bigger problem. Matching comes into when you start dealing with looking at one-on-one basis things. Hold on. Man, I'm dying over here. And that's pretty much what I use Screaming Frog for. I'll close that out. Oh yeah. Then we get into Site Bulb. I look at things that kind of stand out and SEO scores and all this stuff. Grades are for children, so I don't really mess with it. I just kind of look at the color codes and see how much work I really have to do is basically at the end of the day. And then I look at kind of the click throughs and the process of it. The site's not big enough to have stuff this deep, in my opinion. So you're gonna have to look at why your site structure is so deep. Especially for a local thing, you should be able to organize a local site to keep it into the threes for 99% of the pages and stuff. Even I'm still bad at it. Like I still have projects out there that are this deep too, but that's something to consider. Just to kind of make it a little bit easier on yourself, especially on a local play. And then look at the hints. I'm not going to break this out into the different things like SEO, etc. But this is the overall audit. I always kind of click at the highs and the criticals. They'll knock those through first, and you can see a lot of this stuff is really the code in the theme. So there's certainly some work you need to do, or inside of the theme to kind of fix things up and clean things up a little bit. Is all of these things going to help with your SEO? Probably not. So I would prioritize stuff based off of what it's going to help you ranking a little bit better. And then that'll, like this one here, URLs with similar content. Just look at like just because it's picked it up and says it's similar or it's duplicate doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. So look at the purpose of the pages and why you had them.
Some of those I can confirm, like broken links on a page and testing hurt rankings.
Yeah.
Broken images does that. Can you scroll to the top? There's one at the top I thought I might disagree with. Yeah, all the way at the top. Loads page resources using protocol relative URIs.
It's a L.
Not sure what they mean by that. Yeah, you'd have to dig into some of these.
Yeah. A lot
Yeah.
of this one's like if you're thinking technical SEO, Site Bulb is really at the end of the day. There's other tools out there. There's plenty of audit tools, but to me, this one breaks it down dummy style just because all the stuff's here. Like I don't have to reteach anyone if I want them to know what, hey, go fix that. Here's the thing that this is why it's triggering it. Look at it. Does it make sense? Do I really need to worry about fixing it? And in this case here, some of the resources are just using relative URLs. Is that a big deal? Do I really care that much and I want to put some effort into it? Or is it going to fix anything? Is it going to make my SEO better? Versus, I'm waiting on links. I'm waiting on links to kick in. And we haven't done anything for 3 weeks. So I can go fix this thing, a couple of these things as well. So that's another way to look at these.
See, the weird thing about the protocol relative URIs is that's physically and mechanically how Google Analytics works on your page. They use the protocol relative URIs. So it's weird that that's an issue because that's something Google itself is using.
I think because these guys are actually really like stupid deep in the security stuff. And I think Sitebulb is a lot more sensitive to security things that should or should not be there, right? So,
Yeah.
um, yeah. So, again, it's not always going to pick out like things you can fix. There's some things in there that just like WordPress, you just kind of have to deal with, kind of thing, right? So,
Yep.
and then the SEO stuff. This was actually really good. I like these disallow style sheet, disallow JavaScript. Why is it there? Do I really need that JavaScript? If it's disallowed, then maybe I won't mess with it, or I'll delete it. Or and then disallowed style sheets. Why am I blocking a style sheet? Maybe it doesn't need to be there. Maybe I don't need to use that kind of thing. So. Again, it might be even in coding in your theme. You probably have nothing to do with it. You can't fix it. URLs with similar content. We already talked that one. Has only one follow internal linking URL. This is a big one here. That means you have some silo opportunities that you can go ahead and start leveraging. Broken internal URLs. That one's kind of bad. Why are your own links broken? If you have URLs going out and that are broken, that's one thing, but you have broken internal URLs, you need to fix those. There's 131 instances of that. And then URL is orphaned and was not found by the crawler. That means it's like there. It was in your sitemap, but that's the only way it was found is because it was in your sitemap. So, and the page is orphaned on there. You got 23 orphaned pages, and so look at them. Do you need them? If you do need them, or if they're supporting content, turn those into interlink them and turn them into a silo or something like that. And then you can get the rest of these as you go. Images, missing alt text. I think we all have those. So, duplicate H1s, not necessarily a bad thing. You just kind of look at it and check it out. So, again, this is Sitebold, stupid cool. It's only $35, or you find some friends and someone pays $35 and the rest of you pay him $10 and they put a license on for you. It's a good tool. So hopefully that helps out with that. Reach out to me on Skype. I won't send it to you by default, but reach out to me on Skype if you want that. The output. And then we're going to close this out with looking at backlinks. Actually, it's an hour, so I want to be respectful of everyone's time and Ted's time. So, but we would typically close out the audit looking at backlinks, and mainly we'll look at anchor text ratios and stuff and make sure that everything's going the way we want it to go. Just a cursory look. Domain URL is on top. It's just the way that I like it. And then they started getting into some exact match and partial match, which is good on you. Continue with that. And if we look over at Majestic, yeah, pretty much the same. So I would look at these to see what the hell this is, where it's coming from, or where they're finding it. But URL, branding at the top, and then here's your exact match. So continue on with that pattern. I think you're doing pretty good with that, especially when I just did a rough look over at the other one. So
can you share the image I sent in Skype?
Say again?
Can you share the image I sent in Skype?
Oh, yeah. Let me...
Should be able to blow it up nice and big.
Yeah, just...
Awesome. So yeah, this is what I reduced the Cora roadmap down to. This is what I would try to target in a first pass of optimization. There's just some basic standouts in the report. You need to tune your title, you need to tune your headings, and you need to add more entities to the critical zones of the page. And entities, if you're unaware, are nouns. They're, basically things like scarf or orange or plumber or Los Angeles. They're nouns that Google can understand what they are. And you can actually look these up on Wikipedia, Wikidata, Freebase. So the databases that Google uses for entities are actually open. So for a weird turn of events, we can actually look up what Google understands. And so you want to use the terms that Google understands in your content. Cora and other tools will list out these entities for you. And so what I would look at doing as a first pass is I'd try to fix the title, I'd try to fix the headings, and I'd try to use entities a bit more. You should be able to knock out most of it. I wouldn't panic if you don't knock out all of it. It's just try to, make an effort. And most of these require on the order of, a dozen or less. And so just clean them up and wait 2 to 10 days and see if you get a little bump. And if you do, great, let's do more. And if you don't, that's fine. Let's do more. Either way, it's the same action plan. But you don't want to do too much at once because you might trigger a big Google dance. So small incremental changes over time is the name of the game. And you want to get there as cost effectively as possible. So do small batches of change. And when it stops working, then maybe try off page or tune a different keyword, things of that nature.
Yeah. Okay. Again, you know who you are. If you want I'm going to send you this one automatically, the core report, and I'll show you Ted's example or image as well with you automatically. If you want the site bulb, then just let me know that as well. What else did I have to do today? Questions. We'll do questions real quick, which is going to be easy because we only have one. This is from Paul. Is after implementing the core changes, typically when would the changes start to show in the ranking search console?
Well, you got multiple layers there. So typically you'll see the ranking change in Google long before you see it in Search Console. So if you want to know when the change is affecting the result, you have to look at the actual search results. But usually I tell people to wait 2 to 10 days. That's typically when it happens. The worst I've ever seen is 22 days.
Yeah, it used to. I miss the old days where it was like, I do the changes, submit it to Search Console, and then Google give me credit right off the bat. I miss those days, but yeah, I think it's a week is kind of what I'm seeing. And yeah, it plays depending on the term and how many times it changes it and all that other stuff. It kind of thinks around too. So.
Yeah, if you changed the website an hour after it gets recached in Google, I mean that's when you get those 22-day ones. So
yeah.
be mindful of Google's process and the timing involved with that. So if you're changing all the time and it was cached an hour ago, Googlebot's going to be reluctant to come back soon.
Yeah. It's kind of one of those things nowadays where you just kind of have to, you throw as many things that you know in your mind are going to work. You do that all at once, then do it, and then go and see what the result is, and then tinker one by one to get it up to where you need to be. After that, that seems to be kind of my process that works for us, with us.
And if you trigger a Google dance, it gets scary for a couple weeks, but 9 out of 10 times the right response is to do nothing and wait.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was ranking for Phoenix SEO. I got it. It came up on its own, like just randomly for number 45 in the search results. And then I wanted to kill a post on my site, so I killed the post and redirected the backlinks to the Phoenix SEO page. I was like, well, if it's 45, I'll give it a couple more backlinks and see what happens. And Google dropped it right out of the index, and now it's all starting to come back. So it's just be patient with Google now. They're being silly. So. All right, so I want to close this out. We're going to cover the monetization. Ted's got to eat, I got to eat, and you got to eat. So we're going to go over that real quick and close out the show. So with that, let's go with the Ted's got to eat stuff. Ted, you got IMG going. You have the premium levels right now. What kind of stuff are they looking for at the Internet Marketing Gold?
Well, we're just community building. So we have a free track and a paid track. There is a ton of content. You get access to people like me and Clint and Kyle on either track. So it just depends upon what you need. You get more information in the paid side of things. You get priority in the paid side. So if we get busy, uh, but other than that, they're the same program. Check it out. And check out SIA too. I heard you guys just did a big batch of testing. Oh, you're muted.
There you go. We did. We set up a test on the oh geez, come on, get my brain. TLDs, and the Bill Hartzer released the write up. We actually made that one public. We did it for NamesCon. So we tested. What we did is we tested 15 of the top TLDs like .com, .club, .xyz, etc. So go check out Bill Hartzer's blog and download the PDF that he put together for that. And it's kind of the example of where we're taking SIA. You can, again, Clint's got to eat, so you can join us over at SIA. Searchintel.com. It'll redirect, and you can see some of the tests that we've done. A lot of these are all Kyle Roof stuff, and we're going to retest them. Make sure they're still valid, because stuff changes. It's just old days, and I'm carrying I took the torch from Kyle over here, and Dory and the team and I are really got a whole lot of goals set up for this, courses coming out and integrated into it and everything. So it'll be awesome. And then we want to close out the sales pitch by saying that both of us and Kyle and a whole bunch of other people will be speaking at SEO Spring Training. Is April 3rd through the 6th. The 3rd and the 6th are mastermind days. So what that means is instead of giving people talk at you, you get to have conversations with them. And the 3rd is the mastermind, is going to be all about on-page stuff. And then the 6th is going to be it's going to be positioning, and then some off-page link building stuff. So with the great speakers all in between, all networking together in the beautiful city of Tempe. Again, here's some of the speakers. Kyle's going to be there. Myself, Terry, the big gorilla, Alex Barr is going to be there. Bradley, Monique, Marie and Moon will be there. Marty's going to be there. Josh Fletcher, you guys, OG crowd knows him. That criminal, Craig Campbell, he's going to be there. Carolyn Holtzman, Holly will be there. Stuart Tier from Marketing Tiers. If you guys ever have problems with SOPs, you need to come and sit down with Stuart. He's, his marketing cheat sheet stuff is like the basis of most of my SOPs at one point or another. So, and then Jason, Jonathan, and Elias are coming as well. So sign up today. Tickets are available. It's in 72 days. The hotel's on lock. The cool stuff we're doing in advance of is on lock. So we want to see everyone there. Ted, you got anything to say about this one?
I'm looking forward to it. Apparently, they're going to have some sort of an event up front where everybody gives a brief talk about what they're presenting at the show. So that'll be a cool thing to see and share.
Oh, yeah. Yep. And the IMG, Andrew over at Internet Marketing Gold is hosting some different webinars with these guys. I want to say Jonathan is first. There's one coming up, but the speakers will go through and talk on IMG as well. So,
yeah, if you sign up for a free account at IMG, you can see the event calendar. Just click events.
That'd be perfect. So, and that's it. So let's close this out, Ted, with what are we talking about tomorrow at SEO Fight Club?
I think Kyle's running tomorrow's show.